Welcome, Fast Easy Money Farming Simulator 19. We're going to cover a little quick beginner's guide to making quick money in Farmer Simulator. We're going to do the Farm Manager, where you start with a lot of funds, but no land, no buildings, no equipment. We're going to pick the Felsbrunn map, and we're going to turn off all of our mods because we want this to be like a beginner's game. And so you want to have no mods. So let's load up the Felsbrunn map and get started. Now, we start off at lot 20, and we don't own it. We're just standing there at lot 20. But lot 20 is a great location because it's centrally located to all of the plots that require farming. So then we're going to look at our finances, and the first thing you notice is that we have a loan for $250,000. We don't want to pay that because that will require interest payments. We don't want it, so we're going to pay it back real quick in $5,000 increments until we have zero. Now we have $1 million to start, and we look at the contracts and we have a fertilizing job. It pays $4,300. So let's take that job. And now let's jump over to the store, and we're going to buy some equipment. And we're going to buy a small tractor that will allow us to spread fertilizer. But before we do that, we need to have a fertilizer spreader. Fertilizer pays well, and we're going to get the cheapest unit they have, which is a $20,000 unit. And another reason we want this unit is it attaches to the 3-point hitch directly to the tractor. You don't have to pull it as a wagon, and therefore it doesn't slow you down when you have to back up a wagon. So you're literally just driving your tractor around, and that's connected to the back of your tractor. So we purchased that as $20,000, and now we're going to get us a tractor. So we picked the Valtra A series. It's roughly 100 horsepower. And we're going to have, we want to have the narrow tires because we're going to drive all over these fields, and we don't want to damage the fields. And also we say yes to the front end loader attachment. We definitely want to pay the $1,500 for the front end loader attachment. So now that we've bought that tractor, we're ready for a front end loader. So let's go to that. Front loaders, and we're going to buy that FC30. And the reason we want this FC30 is because it's not that heavy. It's not that it's not going to lift that much weight. We got to pick a color for it. I think red is what we wanted to make it match the tractor. The color of these implements is your choice. It doesn't really matter, but let's just picking it to make it match the tractor's color scheme default. You don't pay any extra for the color scheme. Now these pallet forks, you want to be able to see them, so I pick white, and we'll buy that. And next we need some fertilizer. So let's get over to the fertilizer area, and we're going to use dry fertilizer in the palleted bags. Solid fertilizer. It's roughly $2,000 for 1,000 pounds, and we're going to buy, I believe we start out with 4, which is about $8,000. I think I buy 4. I've got now where I buy 5 at a time. So anyway, we have spent $94,000. So let's just say roughly $100,000 that we have spent to start a business of fertilizing fields for contract, by contract. So let's hook everything up, get it all connected here. Get that front end loader attachment connected. And then the pallet forks, get them connected. And the next we want to hook up the 3-point hitch to the spreader. You can see on the front of the spreader the drive shaft hanging out. Three-point hitches connect to the unit in 3 places, 2 at the bottom and 1 at the top. And then what you see hanging out, that yellow part, is the PTO, or is the drive shaft to the PTO. The PTO is on the tractor. The back of the tractor has a small connection that slips on, and that spins, and that's what drives the fertilizer's spreader plates. And those plates distribute the dry pelletized fertilizer. So now we get up to the bags of fertilizer, and we want to fill up our fertilizer. We'll fill up each one. That's 1,000 pounds. Now we're loading up another 1,000 pounds. And the third one is 1,000 pounds. And then we just top it off. And that's 200 pounds out of that 1,000-pound pallet. And then we're just going to take and pick it up with our forks and take it with us. And that's the reason for the front forks, is just to be able to carry some fertilizer with you. It comes in handy sometimes to finish up the field. And it also acts as a nose weight, which you really don't need on this particular configuration. But anyway, it's fun to play with the forks. You can get a good view. So what we want to do in this particular game at this point is we want to make our money back. We want to see that we can actually make money from the processes. And that's the thing about this game, is you could go ahead and buy a lot and buy a house, and you could spend that $1 million and you would have $1 million out in the world that you would eventually want to pay for. But what we want to do in this game is we want to see the result of providing a service, getting paid for it, and making our money back. And how quick can we do it? And how simple can we do it? We can do it with this fertilizer spreader business. At this point, we won't have any land. We won't have a house. We won't have a lot of extra stuff sitting around. But we have made these, the tractor, the loader, the spreader, everything was purchased. So we purchased it outright. So now what we want to do is start looking at these contracts. And we want to see where that first field is that we accepted the contract on with $4,000, I believe it was. And so let's get out there and get some fertilizer spread. So here we go. Turns out the field we're going to is very close. It's just on the other side of that lake. So we're going to drive over there. We're going to start spreading some fertilizer. And we're going to spread the fertilizers in such a way that we can do it as quick as possible and get paid. And this is something that you don't normally see in the game, because when you hire someone to do a field, their methodology is very, very concise, and they turn, they back up, and they drive straight lines to the field. But we're not going to do that. We're just going to start throwing fertilizer. And notice how we're doing it. And I've speeded up this video in the interest of time, but you can see how quickly we make the turn with the spreader, because it's not seed, it's fertilizer, and it doesn't matter whether you're in straight lines or not. And you've got thin tire tractor that does less harm to the crop. And we also accepted that payment. Go back to the contract. There it is, $4,368. Accepted it. And now we're looking for another fertilizing contract. Now, what we're doing, no fertilizing contract is too small. We'll take the best one we can get on the page, or we can take the first one that we can get that's closest to us from the field we're currently in. Because the object of this particular game at this point is to do fertilizer jobs and do them as fast as we can do them. Now, when we get to nighttime spreading and we can't see the field, we'll use hired hands who'll do it via GPS, I guess. But for us, it's visual. We have to be able to kind of see what we're spreading. So now we're going to the next field. And remember, we're on a tractor, and if there's no fences, we don't necessarily need to use the roads. The tractor's going to do about 30-something miles an hour. Anyway, we accepted that contract, and now we're working this field. And look how quickly, at 12 miles per hour, 24 feet wide, we're able to spread that fertilizer and take in that money. And so really this is the nature of this particular strategy, and I'll show you as we go. This video, I believe, is about 25 minutes long, and at the end of it we will accomplish paying off our equipment. And the fun part of that is that once you know that you've reached your $1 million, that you actually have your spreader and your tractor paid for. And at that point, you could purchase a liquid spreader and start doing weeding, and then after that maybe sowing. But harvesting is the last thing that we want to do at this point. Let's just stick to fertilizing. Now, the little trick on the fertilizing, if you don't see a fertilizing job right away, you just speed up your real-time setting, and you'll notice in the videos where we do that. Now, I like to spot the field. We know we're going to field 12 for this job. We accepted the contract, so let's drive over there. So we're going to head over to field 12, and we're going to get started with spraying that big giant field. And this is really a lot of fun. It's very relaxing, and your finger gets tired of holding the trigger down because you are pulling non-stop. You don't have to let off the gas. You pretty much work that field continuously, and it gets smaller and smaller. That's another fun aspect of starting from the outside in, is your field just gets smaller and smaller, and you get more and more excited with the idea you're about to get your paycheck. And if you'll notice that, we're at $903,000. $903,000. And we've just got started. I mean, we've only done a couple of fields, and so we repeat this process. We take the payment, and notice it said 98%. I missed a spot, and it's just a couple little spots that I missed, and they're significant to the point now I'm paid. So stuff like that you can do really easily. As soon as you see payment, stop spraying, because the game allows for you to miss some spots, and there's no reason to spray your money out onto the ground when your contract has been paid. So as soon as your contract is paid, shut that sprayer off and go do the next job. So as you see, we have a couple of them here. That's a $4,691 job. Very quickly adds up. And it's over here, field 8. So let's go to field 8. and we still hadn't even gotten it into our, we still have, 42% of our fertilizer left in the hopper, and we have another 900 pounds or so on the forks. So we've spotted where we're going, and we're quickly spraying this field. Square fields are very fast. What seems like a large field gets smaller and smaller when you're spraying this method. Sometimes the crops are such that it's very hard to see the overlap. You can ballpark it, and if you miss a certain amount, you will have to find it and fix it. And that's the reason why you can see how fast actually you finish a field and take payment. Let's take payment for $4,000, collect, look for the next one. And there's generally some fertilizing jobs available, but if there isn't, what you do is just go over and set your real time to 120 and continue to watch your contracts, and they'll pop up. So we're spotting our next field. And we're accepting that job. Field 26. Kind of work back and forth. You got to find field 26. And there it is. That's close by. That's the one we want to do. So we accept that contract. And it's not paying but $2,000, but it's not very big, and it's close by. So let's roll. So we head over to 26. Use the rest of that fertilizer. And that saves us the time to go back and buy more fertilizer. It'll give us a little extra boost. There you go. Notice we're doing about 12 miles per hour, which is very fast. So we just got paid $2,000, collect. Okay, now we're looking to see what there's a $7,000 job. And that's at field 14. So we accept it. And look at field 14. There it is, the white field right there. And in the meantime, we need to go pick up some more fertilizer. So we run down here and buy some more fertilizer. So this is moving pretty quickly. As far as the game is going, you're running those fields, and you're starting to build your business, and it's a great feeling, start gaining on this debt or on these funds, and you're paying off your tractor. So we're going to run up to field 14, knock it out. And there we are, field 14. I really like these freshly sown fields because you can see your fertilizer real easy. And when you can see your fertilizer real easy, you can go even faster as far as spreading that fertilizer. You want to get as close to the edge of the width of your spray so that you utilize the most you can possibly get out of your spray. And what I do is make sure you switch back from 120 times real time to real time when you're actually spraying. And the reason for that is because you don't want these jobs to go past you. They're seasonal. Like there's a time for harvesting, a time for cultivating, fertilizing, sowing, and so they come in groups. So sometimes when you'll get a run on fertilizer jobs, and there's so many jobs that you can't take but one at a time, and so you want to take the one that pays the most, of course. And so that's what we're doing now, is looking through those various jobs to figure out which one is the most, that pays the most. There's a little $5,000 job and a $6,900 job on field 22. That's a good job. So we accept it. And now we're transitioning over to nighttime, and during the nighttime you can set your time settings at 120 if you want to pass through the night very quickly, or just run your field in real time. And what I do when I work at night and I cannot see what I'm doing, just let your hired hand do it. You make less on the job, but you still get the job and you do it. And notice we're at $948,000 at this point. So, I mean, we're grinding away at these field jobs, spread jobs, but we are gaining on the goal, which is to pay off the original $1 million. Use the $1 million as a base for building a farm. And so the idea is that we're using these fertilizer jobs to pay off this tractor and pay off this equipment. And then, you know, we might expand to pick up the herbicide jobs as well. So the thing about herbicide and fertilizing is your tractor can do 12 miles per hour while you're doing it. You can cover the field because you have a 24-foot wingspan on the fertilizer spray, and that makes that job go quickly. And so here we are at 1,000,001, and as you can see, I mean, in a few short jobs, if you look at our stats, you'll see that this was, I believe, 3 or 4 days of farming, and we've already made our money back. And there is our tractor. We own it. It's not leased. You know, it's paid for, and that's a great feeling, and that makes you feel good in your game because you actually have maintained financial stability and not just thrown all your money out there just in order to play the game. To me, success in the game is also being successful financially in the game. And this is a way to do it. It's fast. It's the fastest way possible, I believe. Everything else runs on a smaller, like plowing. Don't take a plow job ever, because plow jobs are so slow. You can only do 2 rows at a time, and you're grinding. You need as much horsepower as you can get, so you've got tons of money in your tractor, and you're also managing to get 2 rows or 4 rows maximum at a time. Your tractor's grinding away at 6 miles an hour, 4 miles an hour, and it just doesn't make you any money, especially when you're dealing with contract work. Now, if you want to make your own farm and set and wait through your seasons, that's a different type of game. But to get yourself so that you can be profitable, this is my suggestion. And you can see that the balance is 101, and it's a great feeling. We don't owe any money, and we own our tractor and our fertilizer system. And if we want to add like herbicide, we can buy a sprayer and work to pay for it till it's paid for. Once we get everything paid for, we might buy a piece of property, and you know, that's your choice. But this was a quick walkthrough on easy, fast money for the beginner and a fun way to play Farming Simulator 19. I hope you enjoy my quick overview. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel, and see you soon.